to introduce myself. My name is Kenny, and I am the marketing responsible here at ReSea Project. I've been on board since the very beginning. We're a fair young organization, so we of course all help each other in all aspects of building this mission we are on. And I am the daily responsible of all the marketing, communication, and commercial activities of ReSea Project. Me, myself, and our small team is nowhere near being marine biologists or engineers or anything like that. We are a group of passionate people who have a sincere concern for the state of our oceans. Everyone acknowledged that there's a problem. We see a lot of climate summits from politicians around the world and strategic visions made for the next 10 or 20 years. And there's, in general, a lot of attention to the problem of plastic pollution and the state of our oceans in general. But in our opinion, not enough is being done. So that was the whole introduction to why ReSea Project was founded. The whole to tap into the problem, plastic pollution. Developed countries or economies consume too much packaging, while emerging economies lack the right waste management systems, basically, to avoid plastic from ending in waterways. So in our opinion, to grasp upon this problem, we need to reduce our plastic use, you and I. We must prevent waste at source, and we need to clean up what's already found its way into the oceans, and of course stop the inflow and close the tap. With ReSea Project, we wanted to take immediate action against ocean plastic pollution. So our kind of idea into it was, it seems to be a commercial problem. Why not solve it with a commercial solution? So there's the cleanup side of it, our operations, and there's the commercial side of what we do, and to get the support from businesses, and both of them create a great synergy and goes hand in hand. So ReSea Project is a community-driven solution, which means that we establish our cleanup ecosystem in coastal and riverside areas, often characterized with, of course, a major negative impact in terms of waste mismanagement, but also low-income areas. For the time being, we are established in Indonesia, which is sadly the second largest contributor to plastic pollution. I think it's estimated that around 15% of the annual leakage into the oceans comes from Indonesia alone. So there's a huge problem in Indonesia, but luckily they embrace private investments and foreign companies taking action on it to help them get the means to tackle the problem. So it's important to remember local actions also contribute to the global problem of plastic pollution. So besides from establishing our ecosystems, we employ people from local communities, very often local fishermen, who have a hard time catching fish due to plastic pollution. And we help support their income by cleaning up rivers and coastal waters from plastic waste. So an additional side effect of not being dependent on any technological solution and by including humans is that we are able to support their income, improve their living conditions for them and their families, create economic growth in the local communities. And of course, we also want to make sure that the plastic we recover is utilized to reduce the amount of new plastic entering the world, and of course utilize what's already out there. So we support the circular economy by delivering the plastic we recover to local waste banks, who then distributes for recycling or waste handling purposes. Of course, the plastic out there is often in very bad shape, so it depends on what kind of quality the plastic is in. But at least that's our aim, to support as much as possible, and it's an ongoing development task, basically. Another additional benefit of ReSea Project and how we operate is, of course, also the whole awareness aspect. We see that our presence in the local communities help raise awareness. Our cleanup team and their families gets a whole new aspect and view of how not to deal with the plastic waste. And of course, from my end, being responsible for marketing, it's also very much about promoting ReSea Project, but also to create awareness about how individuals, businesses out there, governments can be part of taking action. So we, of course, through our social channels and so on, we really hope to inspire those three entities to take action, and not at least immediate action, because that's really what's needed. The good part about our community-driven solution, besides what already being mentioned here, is that we wanted to create a solution that wasn't difficult to scale. So it's fully scalable, meaning that the more businesses supporting and contributing, being part of our cleanup efforts, the more people we can employ, and expand our operations to new geographical locations. So we map out like river points and coastal areas contributing most to plastic pollution, and we establish our solution there. We've only been operational like full-time since last year, 2020. But since that time, we've really progressed a lot, and we have managed to cover Greater Jakarta and some of the most polluted rivers in Indonesia. So for the time being, we need to maintain that kind of quality control we have in that area. And of course, the next step for ReSea Project is now to look abroad and for the rest of Indonesia, and hopefully we are able to expand all over the world. That would be the dream come true. For the commercial side of ReSea Project, as I introduced, we create the incentive for businesses to be part. Consumers demand increasingly that the brands they support are taking a larger responsibility and support primarily organizations who are making a social and environmental impact. So how businesses can be part of ReSea Project is simply by, for example, give their products or services immediate impact by attaching the removal of an amount of plastic to the products every time a customer buys their product. So their customers too can be part of tackling ocean plastic pollution. Plus, we really seek to be as much as a marketing agency or some fine word like that, but we really seek to help our customers as they are to leverage their sustainability commitments and really to get notified for the huge difference they make by being part of ReSea Project, regardless if they're responsible for removing 500 kilos of plastic out of the oceans and rivers or thousands of tons of plastic. It all makes a huge difference, and we see that it's a great way for companies also to either kickstart their own green transition or to take their existing internally environmental activities and take it to the next level and to do something that goes beyond their core activities. So yeah, that was a long story about ReSea Project. We are fairly young and we have learned a lot on our journey so far. It's been 1.5 years and we went from having an idea of how we wanted things to be, discussing back and forth. Back then we were just 2 or 3 persons discussing this, and the next moment we were on a plane heading to Indonesia to really see for ourselves, and that was really an eye-opener. And if you've seen the amounts of plastic down there, you get a clear vision of how much you really want to make a difference. But of course, as much as we believed in ourselves, it didn't necessarily mean that companies believed in us. So of course we experienced in the beginning that larger companies especially did not think that we were mature enough, and it took a lot more to persuade them to support our mission, and with good reason, because it is a tough market out there, and there's a lot of focus these years on environmental claims, and unfortunately many false claims are being out there with companies stating that or claiming that they are doing good for the environment in some way, or even collecting plastic out of the ocean, and it turns out not to be the case. And that is really a shame, because there are a lot of great startups and companies in general out there doing really good effort. But it becomes so imminent why documentation and transparency is the most critical thing that you should focus on as a startup. And that is really the key learning we did. And we figured immediately, after only a few months, if we are going to succeed with ReSea Project, and really building this into a global entity against marine plastic, and build this huge movement that we are aiming at, we need to be fully transparent and being able to trace all our activities. And that is really a key learning, that you need to prove your impact towards your stakeholders, being business to business or consumers. They demand to know, and they should know that their money is making a difference. But of course, that's also something we're constantly working on. We're definitely not the perfect example yet, but we feel that we're in a pretty good position here. We got certified by the global quality assurance company called DNV this year, beginning of this year, and we were the second only organization in the world to actually get this certification, meaning that we have the highest level of traceability, and we can track down our process from when we find the plastic pollution or the plastic patches in the oceans or in the rivers, and document every step of the journey until delivery at a local waste bank. And of course, that requires some funding as well, and not all startups has that. So of course there are other steps you can take, but at least from especially a marketing perspective, do as much as you can to tell the good story and be fully open about it. Also, don't be scared that your product or solution, whether it's flawless or not, because there's a ton of mistakes you have made already. But at least be fully transparent about your ambitions to do good, and I think that will mean a lot to your stakeholders, knowing that you have the best intentions, and if you're able to create a group of supporters, the rest will come eventually, definitely. I mean, the traits we're looking for, we're still a small team, and of course, as a startup, it's always a question about resources and where to put those resources. So that's definitely something we're looking into at the moment, to see how we can expand our team. And of course, during the whole pandemic situation here, we've also, as all others have, learned about remote meetings and how to operate in 2 different parts of the world. Indonesia is so different from Denmark. We have cultural barriers and all sorts of things to take care of and into consideration and make sure that everything is running smoothly. But of course, we are fortunate enough to have local operational managers. But especially from the commercial side, we are of course looking into how we can build our brand awareness and really to create a strong brand all over the world, because we need all hands on deck, and we really want to have the support of as many companies as possible, because as I said, our solution is scalable. So yeah, it's up to imagination to see how big this can get. But when we look into people to join our team, at least, I mean, it's a big question, right? Because it means a lot to have people with the right skill set, of course, but I myself would never look into having the #1 marketeer in the world. That would be amazing, of course, but I would look into the personal skills and the social skills firsthand, and look for people with the same passion about this project and this whole topic that the rest of the team have. So I would look for people who are eager to learn and execute on things, bring good ideas to the table, and not be afraid to challenge me or anyone else on the team if they come out with good ideas. We should test them and see how it goes, and learn from the results. So I think I would definitely look into for passionate people with each their view on the whole topic, and let them bring the good ideas to the table. I would say that the human aspects and the human qualities and passionate people are the #1 important thing for me, and of course the right skill sets afterwards. And a side note to maybe consider as well is also in regards to the remote work, is that as I mentioned, we work with a lot of different cultures, and we want ReSea Project to be like a global brand. So that also requires talent and people from other countries, because they have a far better understanding of how to enter a certain market. Of course, I have a pretty decent understanding about how Western countries react to different marketing campaigns and in Asia Pacific and so on. But of course, we need people actually living in those countries to kick the door in for us and help taking ReSea Project to the next level. I can definitely only encourage everyone who's listening to follow ReSea Project and give your best support to this cleanup mission we are on. There's so many ways you can help, liking, commenting on social media, following, and of course sharing the message towards all organizations out there. It's important to say that we are not the solution to tackle climate change or ocean plastic pollution, but we are one of many great initiatives. So of course also our best recommendations and encouragement for all startups out there working with sustainability to keep pushing the agenda, because it definitely inspires others to do better for the planet. It's important to remember that the solution to all this is immediate and concerned actions, and change starts with you. So we all have a big role to play in this, and we're definitely optimistic about the future, even though that we hear a lot of bad things about the state of our oceans. But it's so important to walk the talk, and get on board doing good for people and the planet.